Good evening, everyone. Welcome. Call to order at 6 p.m. Item 2, Indigenous Land Acknowledgement. Councilor Shinneman, please.
The Council of the Corporation of the Township of Hornepayne would like to begin by respectfully acknowledging that the land on which we gather here today is the Treaty 9, 1905-1906 territory, the traditional lands of Indigenous peoples. As we work towards reconciliation, may we all live with respect on this land and live in peace and friendship with all its diverse peoples.
Thank you. Number 3 item, review and note any changes to the agenda. Clerk, please.
And well, do you mind going through them? Sorry, I'm having.
Yeah, no,
Thank you.
sorry. So it's the addition of item number 12.3, bylaw number 215725, municipal policy governance framework, confidential item number 14.5, personal matters, labor relations and employee negotiations, and confidential item 14.6, personal matters, amendment, item number 14.1, move into closed session, and item 16.1, bylaw number 215825, confirmatory. And I believe we are having a little bit of a technical difficulty with Mayor Fort, so if we don't mind holding on just for a moment so we can resolve that, that would be appreciated.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, I got it resolved. I left the meeting and came back. My mouse wasn't working, so I couldn't use anything except the tab button.
Yeah, I know my technical difficulties.
Thank you. Item number 4, approval of agenda. May I have a mover to second, please? Councilor Shinneman, Councilor Peter Kistemaker.
Be it resolved that council does hereby approve the agenda as presented.
All in favor? Carried. Item number 5, declaration of pecuniary interest and declaration of conflict of interest. I have none in front of me. As you know, you could declare it throughout the meeting.
Mayor Fort has a hand up.
Sorry, I apologize.
Yeah, I did send it through email to the clerk. It's for 14.2, I believe, of any discussion arising from the closed session minutes of July 23rd.
Thank you very much. Okay. Item number 6, adoption of minutes. May I have a mover and a seconder, please? Councilor Belinda Kistemaker, sorry, Councilor Peter Kistemaker. 6.1.
Be it resolved that the Council of the Corporation of the Township of Hornepayne does hereby adopt the minutes of the regular meeting of council held on Wednesday, August 13th, 2025, as distributed.
All in favor? Carried. Thank you. Item number 7 on the 7.1. May I have a mover and a seconder, please? Councilor Shinneman, Councilor Belinda Kistemaker.
Be it resolved that council does hereby acknowledge receipt of the departmental reports provided at the regular meeting of council held on Wednesday, September 10th, 2025.
Thank you. First one to view is the CAO report. Manuel, do you have anything to add to your report?
Yeah, I mostly wanted to speak to the housing strategy.
Thank you.
So, and AMO. When we were at AMO, we met with Lindsay Blair from the Rural Impact. Is a corporation, it's not for profit corporation that does work with municipal service corporations, MSCs, and a lot of work with housing. They were second or third in the CMHC housing innovation competition. So with one goal. So we had some discussions with them about leveraging our MSC, our Municipal Service Corporation, to build a framework for small rural municipalities to work together with other municipalities to form a GBE, or with other entities, not necessarily a municipality. And a GBE is a government business enterprise, which allows us to look for a different level of funding and that wouldn't otherwise be available to us, and would also take the MSC eventually off of the books of the township and make them independent of us in a financial matter off of our FIR, giving them the ability to borrow on their own away from us and freeing up our FIR. So this is a fairly large endeavor. It is going to create a template for other places within the province and within the country to do the same type of thing should we be successful. So we're gonna go through the process, develop the framework, develop templates that everybody can pick up later on and follow through to do this with CMHC funding if we're successful in this application. So what I'm requesting from council tonight, the resolution is not on the agenda, but we'll add it verbally, I believe. Jennifer, is that correct? Or have you-
Drafting it.
She's drafting it. So what we're asking for, in short, is the permission to go ahead and work with Rural Impact to put this application forward to CMHC. The cost to Hornepayne, should we be successful, is $0. Should we not be successful, there's a ceiling limit of $10,000. Lindsay's thinks it may be a little bit lower, but the ceiling would not be above $10,000 to try to seek through this opportunity and work through this application. So I strongly recommend this project. I think it would be good regionally. There's all kinds of Build Canada Fund is going to come out this week, I believe, by the end of this week or early next week. Without some kind of a consortium, we'll never be able to access those funds, but maybe working with other municipalities through this endeavor, we can open up a new funding stream that wouldn't otherwise be available. So I wanted to speak to that. And I wanted to speak a little bit to AMO to say thank you to council for the ability to go to AMO. It was very little cost for us to go. Thank you, Good Roads Association, for letting me join in with Jen and really help us with lower our cost burden in that respect. It cost me the registration fee and meals, and that was it. We were able to sit down with Minister George Peary and our delegation. He thought it was a great idea, the small northern tax class. I spoke with a gentleman in Atikokan today as well. That's a business person there and a counselor, and he loved the idea. I'll be sharing that information. I'm hoping he can bring it to his council, and hopefully council here will support us tonight, and I'll bring it to other councils as well. You've already shown your support, so I'm pretty confident it will happen. We did also hijack Minister Peter Bethlen Foley in the hallway. So it was great. We were able to give him a card with the QR code, and he did let Mayor Fort know that he had the opportunity to read through it. He thought it was a good proposal. He gave her contact information. So I forwarded the proposal off to his people, and they've informed me that it's on the table and they're looking at it. So the resolution tonight is requesting the ability to go to other townships and some businesses as well, because I think it's just important for businesses to get behind this idea, both locally in Hornepayne and away from Hornepayne throughout Northern Ontario, for support for this initiative. So I think that's all I have that I'd like to highlight, unless council has something they'd like to ask me about.
Members of council, any questions, discussions, or input for CAO?
I think it's great.
All right, thank you very much. Clerk, please come.
So is there a government business enterprise active anywhere now?
We would be the first one. This is why it's in it. So the CMHC Innovation Fund is exactly what it sounds like. It's an innovation fund for housing. So innovative new ideas that can help us create housing, both affordable and for sale. So this is an avenue by which small municipalities can join together and create a formula to build homes in the north.
Further? And so the structure is primarily a change in accounting, which would remove the MSC from the township financial statement. The township would remain the primary shareholder. So would the township then have any input into the operation?
Yes, you are still the primary shareholder of the GBE. You will remain regardless of how many minority shareholders are. The primary most major shareholder would remain the Township of Hornepayne. So you'd hold the majority share.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Mayor Ford, please go ahead. I didn't see your hand up. I apologize. Thank you.
No problem. Thank you, Chair. I just wanted to applaud Manuela and Jen at the AMO conference for leading delegations going through, and and Peter, always a delight to be at the conference with him, a tremendous networker. So I was really pleasantly surprised by Rural Impact and the tools that we have in our toolbox that can be elevated. So I totally support moving forward and seeing what we can do, working with them and elevating our MSC and the Hornepayne housing to new heights. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Any further input on the sales report? Okay, we'll proceed to the CAO Clerk Department, Clerk, please. Any comments on the report, please?
I did just want to thank Mayor Fort, Councillor Peter Kissmaker, and Manuela CAO for allowing me to lead my first delegation. It was very terrifying and exciting, and it went very well. So I wanted to thank everybody for that. Otherwise, I'm able to take questions if anyone has any.
Any questions from members of council? Please go ahead.
Just a comment. Did very good on your first lead, and I was right beside you, and I thought you were done amazing.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Thank you, Mike. Christina? I just have a comment, training on and implementing online marriage licenses. How is that progressing, please?
It is going. There's a bit of a process with all of the training, but I'm making good progress and I'm excited to bring that to the township to be able to actually do them online.
Any dateline where this will happen and be a reality, please?
I'm hoping within the next month.
Great.
It should take about a month to implement. Once the training is complete, I'm almost done the training.
Thank you. And I'm glad to see the Service Ontario upgrades locations were all completed.
Yes, and our Service Ontario clerk this week, you'll notice our hours were, we didn't have any this week.
Right.
It was because our Service Ontario clerk is gone to Marathon for further training, just to ensure that she is fully prepared to take on this role on her own.
Thank you, sir.
And she's doing great.
Any further comments on or questions to the clerk? Members of council?
Mayor Fort.
Mayor, please go ahead.
Thank you, Chair. I wanted to I meant to comment this on Manuela's report, but Jen talks to it in hers about the special town hall meeting. I know the questions were, or the advertisement went out, and if we could just reiterate that for the public, exactly how they go about to get on the docket.
I can do that. So we did send out, it's on our Facebook page, the town hall meeting schedule. It's Wednesday, September 17th. The clerk will put out an agenda for this town hall, but in addition to that, if anybody would like to speak at the meeting, email your question in advance to the clerk@hornepayne.ca or sign up the day of the meeting at the registration table. There will be speaker guidelines. I could just quickly go over those. People who register will speak in the order that they signed up. After that, others will have a chance to speak, and it will be one question at a time and a maximum 3 minutes per speaker. The town hall will be moderated by Mayor Ford.
Thank you. Any comments, Teresa? Thanks for the question. Seeing none, we'll proceed to the acting treasurer, Richard, please.
Yeah, good evening. I don't think I have anything further to add to the report. Does anybody have any questions?
Sorry, I think if there's no questions, I would like you just to maybe verbalize the new multi-residential property tax for subsidized housing, because this has to be done by September 30th. And we'd like to see it on the agenda for September 24th, I believe, if council would like to move forward with this.
Okay, yes, we postponed doing the new multi-res subclass so that we could have council consider both of these items. So I believe the information is attached separate, a separate report regarding the rental housing. And so I think the idea was to give council an opportunity to have a look at this, and we will bring bylaws forward before the end of September for this item if council is wanting to move forward with it. And we might as well do the multi-res new subclass at the same time. So anything further, Manuela, that you wanted to?
No, I could probably just give council a very quick recap of what that is. So very similar to the multi-residential subclass, class and subclass, the ministry, the same one that we've asked for our special subclass to go to, class and subclass to go to, has implemented a class for residential housing, subsidized residential housing. So when you have subsidized residential, multi-residential housing within your municipality, if you'd like to reduce the tax rate for that multi-residential property that's subsidized because you're getting lesser rent. You can do that. You have to pass the council, council has to pass the bylaw by September 30th in order to do that.
And it
So,
would be
right.
effective for 2026 tax year. Yeah.
Yeah.
It looks like Mayor Ford has.
Your report, go ahead, please.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Chair. To Richard, through you, is there another opportunity that we can do this, or if we pass this deadline, we can't institute this into our community?
That's correct. Not for 2026. Now you may, and I'm not 100% sure whether there's an opportunity to do it for the following tax year, but I know this information as it come out said it's being introduced for 2026 tax year, and the deadline to pass the bylaw is September 30th. So I'd have to confirm that with MPAC, but to me, I guess my recommendation would be that township consider doing this. So you want to encourage new development for housing, and this is a supported housing, affordable housing. So it does make sense to try and encourage affordable housing within the municipality, and we might as well have this availability. The bylaw, we would have up to 35% reduction in the regular rate of tax. So that's something that council would have to decide on as well, whether they wanted to go to the maximum or something between 0 and that maximum.
So what it would do in essence, it would reduce the property taxes paid by our MSC for those 10 subsidized units by 35%. So there's 40 units in the building, 10 of the 25% of those units reduce that tax by 35%. And then I would further maybe recommend to council that they recommend to the MSC to take that savings and put it into a grant for future capital.
Okay, if I could have a follow-up, Mr. Chair?
Please, go ahead.
Just on this, is there any way that we can put in the policy what we end up passing? Because I'd like to see this move forward, because I'm thinking Quantumano Family and Child Services. I've talked to their executive director. They have housing money. They support our community. They might be somebody that would build new for this. But my concern is that we have had service providers in the past and currently that, and it might be covered under our property standards bylaw when that's fully implemented. Is there any way that we can ensure that the properties are kept up within this new class? Like, you have to meet those requirements? Or
Right,
do we cover that in the property standards bylaw?
Pardon me, I believe that would be property standard.
Okay, so we would just link it that you have to follow the property standards bylaw to be within this class, or what have you?
This is a bylaw that's a requirement of the ministry specific to the property tax class.
Okay. So there's no way that we can link the two. We just pass it, and then under
No,
our
you would
property
be able to-
standards, they would have to follow under that. Okay, that's fine, as long as we're covered. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you.
If
Please
I
go
may.
ahead, Jennifer.
If you're speaking about new builds, however, though, if they were purchasing municipal land, you could include that in your agreement with them for that they are required to maintain the buildings in the application.
Yeah, and I don't think this is specifically for new builds. I think it's for any multi-residential subsidized building or portion thereof.
So this could possibly help us garner maybe a seniors living, multi-res seniors living, if we were to find somebody that wanted to do that for affordable housing. Am I correct?
Probably.
And is there a minimum for the amount of residents units?
I don't think there's any risk to the municipality to pass this bylaw because it gives you the ability to lower your taxes up to 35%. It doesn't mean that you will actually lower them. It gives you the ability to lower them. And then you would let MPAC know which properties fall within this class. We can definitely bring back more information with the bylaw and then vote on it on the 24th.
Sounds good. Thank you.
Thank you. I think that's, please go ahead. I'm sorry.
Thank you. So, so would this mean that a current multi-residential, a duplex, a triplex could apply for that? And if so, do we have a way to make sure that current multi-unit buildings are up to code, fire code and safety before? I mean, that's a concern that if somebody carte blanche could just apply into this and have created a duplex or a triplex, and we just say, well.
So it's not for all duplexes and triplexes, it has to be for subsidized rent. So, and I believe in order to get the subsidy, you have to, Catherine Lewis is here tonight from Hornepayne Housing Corporation. I'm sure she can speak to this with more knowledge than me. But I believe that there is an inspection before they become subsidized. Am I correct, Catherine?
Yeah, there's like
Their
a whole thing
standard.
that you have to do in every year that you're receiving, even a portable subsidy. You have to give your insurance inspection, your fire inspection, all of that stuff to be in compliance.
Thank you.
Whether or not the DSAB keeps up with it, it's up to them. But if the units aren't being charged, or if the unit isn't being occupied by a low-income person, would they have to report that to the township? Because sometimes those units aren't made available, there's nobody available to take them, so they put whoever and they're at market rent.
I will find out.
I think it's worthwhile to have more information, as the
Yeah.
mayor said, for next meeting. So we have more thorough discussion with all the areas and all the moving parts. I think that's important before we move anything ahead.
So September 24th is the next meeting. It's a strategic planning meeting. However, we have a deadline of September 30th. I'd like to ask council and the clerk's permission to add this item to that agenda.
All agreed?
Yes.
Okay,
Thank
there we
you.
go. Thank you. The only thing I have a comment on Richard's other tax arrears. It's nice to see the efforts have resulted in substantial number of accounts either being payments or calling for making payments, and also the second one as well continue to be arranged. Good work.
Yeah, it's going well.
Glad to hear that.
Can I,
Please go ahead.
through you, Chair, to Richard, what's the difference between going to collections and going to real tax? Because that's so one we're gonna be looking at investing in the property versus collections is like the last ditch or the last effort that we can do.
No, the other way around. What we're doing is anybody that is over a year in arrears, and we
Yeah.
did the first round, we went for the higher dollar amount. So if they had over $1,000 over a year in arrears, they've gone, and we've no response to our letters for contacting us or making payment arrangements. Excuse me. Then they've gone to the collection agency. So the real tax is when they become 2 years in arrears and there's no payment plan or no response from them. Then it goes to real tax. And just so council knows, the first thing that real tax does on those 8 properties, they've already sent out what's called a farm tax registration. Excuse me. It's the first notice that goes to the property owners, and it lets them know that it is with then real tax, and the tax registration process is going to start. So I'm assuming before the end of September, we will hear from some of those 8 about that process, and the cost to register those with real tax is added to the tax roll. So that there should be no cost to the municipality to do that. When we send it to the collection agency has a charge of 30. And again, that comes right off the payment. So if somebody owed $1,000, then the collection agency is going after $1,300, keeping $300 for themselves. So just to give you an idea of the two.
Gotcha.
Okay, please go ahead.
Okay.
So when you say over 2 years, is there like, so things aren't that actually that bad? Like most of the houses are 2 years or less?
Most of them are, yes. Now, there are
That's-
some extenuating circumstances too. There's some that we did hear back where the owner had passed away, family members in the process of looking after the estate. We weren't going to make a further step on a property like that, but we are in touch and we'll keep in touch to make sure that the process goes and the tax bill gets looked after.
Thank you.
Okay, Mayor Ford, please go ahead.
Yeah, so on those 8 properties that are going to the tax registration process, so these are occupied homes now, correct?
Not necessarily. It could be
No?
vacant land. Yep.
Oh, it could be vacant land as well. Okay.
Yep.
And how, so you alluded to that you might get responses over the next month because
Right.
they've gone to that process now? And they can still work backwards from that to set up a plan at that point still?
Yes, they can. In that, excuse me, in that situation, they have to sign an agreement for an extension, and so we work out payment terms with them for that extension agreement. And what happens is, like, in the tax sale process, it takes a number of months. So let's assume it's 10 months, 12 months. I think it's a year, actually. What happens is if they're 2 months into the process of sending it to Real Tax and they sign an extension agreement, and then let's say 6 months later, they start missing payments, it simply goes back to Real Tax and the clock starts ticking again for their 1 year to go to a tax sale. So that's all explained to the property owners when they sign an extension agreement. It's that serious. It's registered against the property. It's a deed or against the deed to the property. And so anybody that did a title search on that property would see that there was a tax registration and the extension agreement. So.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you very much. Any further questions, comments? All right, we'll proceed to Dwayne, Public Works Manager, if any comment.
Street sweeping is now completed.
Any questions or comments to Dwayne, please? Please go ahead, Councilor.
The Third Avenue project, when the line came down, Dwayne, the hydro line, did we have any repercussions on the township for that, or was that everything that was strictly and dealt with by them?
Correct.
Thank you. And if I may,
Please go ahead.
I hate to sound like a broken wheel or that, but how are we doing with the washings? I've been away more than I've been in town for the last 2 weeks. Are we?
Area of the Washington is complete. It just got the connection to the main, in the middle of the road. We're gonna have to wait for the main lines. We were unsuccessful, but taking the old lines from the YMCA in there.
Thank you.
Any further questions, comments? Please go ahead.
I was just wondering about, I see, the repairs on the arena are almost complete. Okay, I was just wondering about, the arena roof. How is that going to work
So
out?
the council had made a commitment earlier this year to do those small emergency repairs, which is around 100,000, 120,000. The large portion of the roof is something we have to address in the future.
Okay.
Small portion of the roof is almost complete.
Oh, okay.
Far and few between. Can I,
Please go ahead.
the water repairs around town that you dug up, the local streets, the spots that you feel that are fixed for sure, like permanently, is there gonna be pavement put back in there, like when they do Third Ave project, or something that's what for funding for, we're gonna have to seriously have a conversation about areas of town. Okay.
Any further comments? Well, I'd just like to make a comment. I'm not sure, did the town office building painting and the structure, it looked decent, it was respectable. And just for the record, last time that it was painted was 2001. You know, so I was here at the time, so I'm glad. When Manuela came on board, she said a bit of paint could do wonders. You can't. Whoever did the job, well done.
the Parks and Rec Department.
Yeah, I'd like to give a shout out on Canada, sorry, it wasn't Canada Day. It was the Home Hardware grand opening, the Home Building Center grand opening. Beauty Tone was here. I approached Beauty Tone and Beauty Tone and Home Hardware donated the paint to the township. So big thank you to Beauty Tone and Home Hardware. And our summer students, along with Jay, did the work. And yes, I agree, it looks fantastic. So,
Well, shout out to the Beauty Tone. That's wonderful.
yeah.
Yeah, really.
That's fantastic. Please go ahead.
Would it be appropriate to make sure that we send
Absolutely.
some kind of information to both to Gideon and Hattie and to the beauty team?
Wonderful. Further comments? Input? If not, we'll proceed to EDO. Report Stacy, please.
Anything to add? If there's any questions,
Any questions, input, comments? Please go ahead.
I was just wondering, can you just, I see you had some meeting, with, Francophone and then, some support meetings. Can you elaborate on what kind of, your topics lately? Like, what's going on in the, economic development area?
So the first one, the Francophone immigration program, an update on it. Councillor Stepanek and I attended a meeting today at lunch. There was representatives from 4 organizations there. And we had a really, really good discussion. Really excited about that project, so that no employers actually showed up to the meeting. So we're Stephen's going to send us some information, and I'll pass that out to the businesses and have a discussion with them about that's brings Francophone immigrants into the community. The support programs, because of the organization, it seems like it's very, very dynamic. Each person has a part, and I already have another meeting set up with one of the gentlemen that I met today about projects that could support new immigrants in the community. So I'll have that in 2 weeks. Had a few business meetings, so there's some business startup folks in the background coming maybe in early 2026. Still in the process.
Can I ask,
Please go ahead.
when you're talking about that, what's the main issue that you see when it comes to coming within Hornepayne? Like, what is something that, what is the wall that keeps coming up on getting someone here?
Honestly, in the last year, I haven't come across stumbling blocks in that area. Lots of the business meetings I have had in the last 12 months. There's lots of ideas, but when it comes to the business planning section, lots of times the person who has the idea, when they actually sit down and look at the financials, sometimes they get scared themselves. This one, so far, we're at the beginning of the process, there hasn't been any stumbling blocks. We're just working through it.
Thanks. Okay. Any further comments? Input, please go ahead.
Thank you. Thank you. Where are our rebranded merchandise? Where is that being? Is it all online? Is that where it's being marketed?
So there hasn't been any marketing, honestly.
Okay.
We started the selling on July 1st. And I went away for a month, so I left Shanna with 4 products upstairs. And they have been selling them from the town hall. So you're gonna see over the next couple months, we're gonna try to put some stuff online. We have some other products that we're gonna do pre-orders, and not that we're gonna bring stuff in. We have a real limited budget. So we'll sell what we have now. And then there'll be custom orders that can be ordered either at the town or eventually down in the town.
Thank you.
Please go ahead.
Would there be a possibility, and I guess we have to talk to council and stuff, at our meeting on the town hall meeting, would it be possible to have a table set up there to be able to at least display, if not sell, to be able to see, so the general public and residents can have a look and be able to see what is available?
Input from council?
Airport hazard.
Please go ahead.
I think that's a great idea to have a table set up at town hall so people can see, and if they want to buy or what have you that evening. My question is for signage. Are we going to have some signs, metal signs made up to replace the current geographical center of Ontario signs that have the original HEDC Three Bears branding?
So that would be up to council. That'll have to be put in next year's budget. So we don't have the budget. Like that was done through the Center of Ontario Committee. So I don't know where that Center of Ontario Committee is, if we're gonna start that up again. But the Geographic Center of Ontario wayfinding signs and other building signs weren't in this budget, but I will be proposing that for the 2026 marketing budget.
Okay, thanks.
Thank you. Any further comments, input? Oh, thank you very much.
Yes, thanks to that, make sure everyone's good with the report resolution.
Right. Go ahead.
So they're all in favor for.
Oh, yeah. All in favor for the resolution for department head reports? All in favor? Carried. Okay, go ahead, please.
Okay, so now we have the resolution that Manuela had mentioned during her, report. Would you like to get a mover and seconder?
Yeah. We're in a second on Manuela, Council Schilleman, Council Linda Kissmaker.
Be it resolved that council supports the CMHC Innovation Fund grant application. Be it further resolved that the cost for this application shall be no more than $10,000 should the application be unsuccessful.
All in favor? Carried. Thank you. Thank you, Jennifer.
No problem.
Under the number 8 correspondence action items, may I have a mover and a seconder, please? Councilwoman Schilleman, Councilwoman Belinda Kissmaker.
Be it resolved that council does hereby authorize Darnell Lewis, CEO of the Hornepayne Public Library, to hold the trunk or treat event on October 31st, 2025 from 4 p.m. to 5:30 p.m. at the Pavilion Park with electrical access and to have use of tables and chairs free of charge. Be it further resolved that council directs staff to close Front Street between 4th Avenue and 5th Avenue between 3 p.m. and 6 p.m. on October 31st, 2025 to help ensure the safety of participants and to provide better accessibility, and that the event will be covered under the municipal liability insurance policy. Be it finally resolved that township staff, council, and or the fire department will participate.
You had some comments towards the, please go ahead, Jennifer.
Yes. I did want to ask that if council would like to have a trunk there, which would be very cool, to let me know within the next week, as the library CEO had requested to know in advance.
Council's input?
Great idea.
Okay. All good? Go ahead,
Would
please.
someone from council
how to
please
make it happen.
volunteer? Yes, because I'll be doing the township staff trunk. But if anyone from council would like to have a trunk as well on behalf of council. And you don't have to answer now, but if anyone decides that they would like to, let me know within the next week or so.
So if we could get back to you within Jennifer, the clerk, within 5 working days, please.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Oh, Mayor Fort has.
Mayor Ford, please go ahead.
Yeah, you guys are too nice letting them off. Okay, if we have a trunk, I don't mind doing a trunk. My car trunk is very small. If someone wants to donate their truck to me, we can do a council trunk or treat.
Okay.
So those members that have a truck, if I can borrow one of your trucks for those hours and an hour before.
All right, so there's
I'll work with you, Cheryl.
Okay, great. Thank you, Belinda.
if someone had a real trunk and leave it there, a real trunk, a real trunk or treat, not a vehicle trunk, okay? Let's be real here, a trunk, from Titanic or something, I don't know.
I do have one of those like old train trunks. I use it as a
There we go.
coffee table.
I like that. Set a new precedent.
I don't think you mixing it.
Okay, you require more further information?
No, as long as
Just
council is.
Just one
Go ahead,
comment on that, Drago. If I find a trunk, will you dress up as a pirate? We could do that theme.
Yeah, I'll make sure that, makes a costume
All the
for me.
ring.
No, she'll make a costume. She did her 38 years of being dressed up. I'll take care of that. No problem.
Okay.
In my word.
You really kept up with the limp and everything.
Well, I got the lip natural. No pretense. Okay,
All right. I had to.
no, it's okay. I accept that. Um, and may I have it all in favor of this resolution, motion? Carried. Thank you. On the 8.2 item, L. Stewart request for proclaim October Autism Awareness Month. May I have a mover and a seconder? Peter Kistemaker, Councilor Belinda Kistemaker.
Whereas autism spectrum disorder, ASD, affects more than 1 in 50 children and youth in Canada and countless families, caregivers, educators, and support workers across the country. And whereas autism is a lifelong neurodevelopmental disorder that affects how individuals communicate, interact, learn, and experience the world around them. And whereas promoting awareness, understanding, acceptance, and inclusion of individuals with autism is essential in building a stronger and more compassionate community. Therefore, be it resolved that the Council of the Corporation of the Township of Hornepayne hereby proclaims October 2025 as Autism Awareness Month and encourages all residents to learn more about autism and work together to foster a more inclusive and supportive community for everyone.
Comments, input? Seeing none,
If I may.
please go
Sure.
ahead.
Again, without sounding like, I'm not in favor of proclamations, but I'm not in favor of month-long proclamations. It's not what the proclamation is about. The autism is very real and has increased substantially over the last 20 years. But I have 2 points, and one would be that typically April is Autism Month. April is, so if we declare October 2025 as that, then next year, will we do April and October? Or are we doing October because we missed April? I guess that would be the thing, because typically everywhere it looks like April is the autism month. And again, a day, a week, but a month I am not in favor of for anything. And I'll state that again, it's not the cause, it's the month. Thank you.
Please go ahead.
I did want to advise, I researched this in advance because it is generally globally, April is Autism Awareness Day and often seen as Autism Awareness Month. However, Canada has declared October as Autism Awareness Month for Canada. It is in their autism strategy. I forget the exact name for it off the top of my head, but it is one of the things listed in it that October is Autism Awareness Month for Canada.
Thank you. Okay. Any further comments?
Mayor Ford has her hand up.
Mayor Ford, please.
Yeah, I'm in favor of the motion on the floor, but in the background letter, I'm concerned about having it on our billboard for the month, just because I know that we're going to have other organizations come forward. I know early educators is in October, violence and protecting women is October as well. So I couldn't remember all of the off the top of my head. So I was going to suggest that we do it for a shorter time, maybe the week of around October 4th. I'm not sure, but I leave that to staff to figure out.
Perhaps the solution would be to use the Facebook page.
Okay, that would work.
May I also?
Please go ahead.
I also wanted to mention, our sign isn't actually visible from the road anymore because of the Third Avenue project. It's behind the building and not visible, so I was gonna suggest that we don't really put anything on it until people can see it again.
Yeah, that is correct. All right, please go ahead.
I agree with for the month, and we missed April, but I'm 100% for it. Autism is it's getting more and more prevalent, and I agree with the CEOs with the Facebook because we can't see our billboard anymore. So yes, thanks for bringing that up, Jen, and I'm for it.
Any other further comments? I'm for 100% for the 1 month.
Yeah.
If we had our signage in the front, this would be my take on it. Mayor Ford did mention there's a few other things happening during the month. I get that. However, there's 3 events, you could give each individual 2 weeks on the board. If there's only one person for that month, one group, they have the whole month. It's not rocket science.
Yeah, I think that's good too. But decisions made easy with it being dipped back here.
All right, all in favor? Opposed?
In that case, we need it recorded.
Record the vote. Okay, yes, I'm sorry, I apologize. Jean.
No problem. Bear with me. I have to pull up. the procedure.
Was the vote requested? Sorry to jump in here. Was the vote requested to
Was
be
not
recorded?
requested.
Then it
Therefore, it
doesn't
was
need
not-
to be, it doesn't need to be recorded as long as you
It
pass
doesn't,
it.
even if there's one in,
Only if a council
No.
requests. a recorded vote.
I thought that it was,
Correct.
if any was in.
Nope.
Sure.
You can record, 3 in favor, 4 in favor, but you don't have to put who they
Right.
were unless
Correct.
the recorded vote was requested by any particular councillor for the main. Beautiful.
The motion passes. Item 8.3, Kidsport Hornepayne request for support autism awareness celebration.
Whereas Kidsport Hornepayne is organizing an autism awareness celebration on October, forgive me.
Mover and a seconder, yes. Council Belinda Kissmaker, Council Peter Kissmaker, my apologies.
Whereas Kidsport Hornepayne is organizing an autism awareness celebration on October 4th, 2025, featuring activities such as sensory games and autism information booths. And whereas Kidsport has requested a $500 donation for this event and the use of tables and chairs from the Township of Hornepayne. Therefore, be it resolved that council authorizes the use of table and chairs and agrees to donate, you guys can fill that in, to the autism awareness celebration hosted by Kidsport. Be it further resolved that the donation will be expensed from blank. And if I may speak to this.
Yes, go ahead, please.
So the reason that these are left blank is because technically, council has a donation budget of $1,000. 500 of it was for Terry Fox and 500 was used for the Snowmobile Club. And there's yet to be, I believe, 1,000 for the Santa Claus Christmas party, which generally comes from the advertising and public relations. I believe Richard looked into where we could take money for this donation should council wish to proceed with it. It's just up to council to decide how much and where the money.
Council's input, comments, suggestions, please.
Mayor Fort has for him.
Mayor Ford, please.
Yeah, just, could you remind me, with our donation policy, why are they still coming to I get it if there's no money available to put at it. Is that why they're coming to council? And then the one for the Snowmobile Club, because that was an unusual ask? I'm just not sure why they're coming to council table.
In this scenario, yes. It's because there's no money for it. And also technically they would come to council anyway. We're just to confirm that they fit within the policy.
Okay, and a follow-up, if I may, Mr. Chair. In our policy, does it state anything when we're out of donation, how we can reply to those requests?
We could bring that back to council. I don't know the policy off the top of my head.
Okay, maybe it's time to look at our donation policy at some time in early 2026 or even later this year if we have the opportunity, so that we put it out there early that we have a certain amount budgeted for donations and get your applications in early. It's heart-wrenching, just sitting at this table, it's heart-wrenching to make decisions when you have no cash left in that account, and I just don't want it like that. We're not supportive. That's not the case. I am concerned though. So those are my comments.
Any further comments from members of council?
I'd like to hear from Richard Ward, actually, please.
Richard, please go ahead.
Yeah, I'll try and get my camera back on here. Sorry, yeah, Jen, the clerk has already contacted me and we've looked at this, and as she said, we've already spent 500, committed another 500, And there is still the Santa Claus donation coming at Christmas time. And the budget this year is $1,000. Last year, the spending was $1,300 with a budget of $1,000, and we left the budget at $1,000 for 2025. So we're already going to be over that, and that's where we're at.
Please go ahead.
Thank you. I certainly don't know the financials of kids sport, but I know that they did say on Facebook not that long ago that from Hogfest, they raised, I believe, between $4,000 and $5,000. And it's not that one cause is better than another, but to do creative accounting to try to make room for something that may have, finances on hand, maybe we should reconsider or consider maybe passing on this and giving them table and chairs, absolutely, but maybe not the financial. Yeah.
Mayor Ford, please.
Mayor Ford, please go ahead.
I thank you again, Mr. Chair. I forgot to my comments about the tables and chairs because it is a Saturday. I'm just wondering how we're accommodating that. And I'm pretty sure in the past we've talked about this. I'm not sure because there's definitely a monetary value of having our chairs and everything put out on a Saturday and when they'll be collected and what type of damage could happen to them. So I have no problem donating to that, but I would like to show the cost of what that actually physically, like the costs, to calculate that into dollars of what that actually is the cost to the municipality. Because on a Saturday, it is substantial. More so than on a weekday. And further that, I think and I have this comment coming later when we talk about the hockey, Hornepayne Minor Hockey, is when we're supporting an organization in town, one thing I would like to see is the actual resolution from their board supporting what's coming forward. I think that would be a best practice that we put in. And I don't know if there's any comments on that.
Please go ahead.
I would agree with what Madam Mayor just said. But as far as the monetary donation is concerned, we're broke and it's gonna have to come up with creative accounting. But again, precedence has been set before and I really don't, I want to say I'm in favor of stepping outside the lines again. Let's do this monetary donation, but like what the mayor said earlier, we have to notify everybody that things are going to change. And I don't want 3/4 of the way, we're almost at Christmas now, to change the way we're doing things. And it is a very good cause. And these are all volunteers doing it. So we're going to have to somehow come up with it. That's what I believe. And you're right. I would like to see a number put on the chairs and tables because that is a considerable cost and people should be aware of it.
Yeah, you're correct. Yeah. Go ahead, please.
I just wanted to advise, so I pulled up the comprehensive user fees bylaw.
To rent, yeah.
The cost for a table, including up to 8 chairs each per day, I believe, is $31.21 plus HST for a total of $35.27. So depending on the amount of tables and chairs, and additional chairs are $3.12 each or $3.53 after tax each. And Richard has his hand up.
Please go ahead, Richard.
Yeah, thank you. 2 points I'd like to make. First of all, it would be my suggestion if there isn't a monetary donation that the organization be advised if they would like to be considered in 2026, they need to get their request in now so it can be considered at budget time. And any other organization, the same thing. I've done that in other municipalities where you would have a list of requests and a monetary amount, and then council would make the decision when they're doing budget, not after the budget is passed. Second item, I think, as the mayor alluded to, the use of the assets on the weekend, the chairs and tables, can be costly if we have to pay staff to come in to do that. So a suggestion would be that maybe they consider picking the chairs and tables up if they have a way of storing them during, pick them up on the Thursday, Friday, and return them the following Monday. Just a suggestion from me. Thank you.
That happened in previous years. I mean, that's nothing new to me. If I could comment, give you a bit of history, especially to Richard. Going back 10, 12 years ago, our council mandate was that time funding $150 maximum per group. It doesn't matter, they needed $1,000, it was $500. Obviously, that $1,000 stretched much further than with $500. I think something to consider when the mayor said we could look at this policy more closer, and then you spread across numerous organizations. Because it's very difficult to be in this situation personally now, because this is a good cause as well. But then maybe another month from now be another great cause. And that's difficult to make the decision. I think we review, as the mayor said, review the policy and bring it out to $150 maximum. And that's right across the board. There'd be no favoritism, 500 here, 1,000 here. This is if the council agrees. And then we're out of that deep hole.
And it's gotta be in by a certain date.
Correct.
Yeah.
So that could be, please go ahead.
I just find we're making things way too complicated.
Yeah.
Just make it simple.
Yeah. So we go back to the original request, council's input.
The amount.
The amount? You want to change the amount, or you have zero, or please go ahead.
Yeah, I'm just wondering, so Richard didn't let us know where it would come from if we were to donate 500. Is there any place that can come out of?
It's difficult to say at this point in time. I want to try and get a year-to-date budget to actual, but I know we need to get the banks reconciled up to date, and I need to finish the FIR before I can work on a budget to actual report. The one place is maybe I'd like to look at advertising and public relations. Last year we were way under budget, so we spent 5,300. We dropped the budget to 8,000 this year. There might be some room left in there, but I can't say definitely that there is, because I don't have the general ledger is not up to date with bank reconciliations right now.
Okay, thank you for that.
Please go ahead.
Can we table this to September 24th when the treasurer could come back with the recommendation? Mayor Forecast.
Please go ahead.
I think that's a great idea. And we could inform them of what we have decided tonight with tables and chairs, and we have to figure out the monetary of where that's coming from.
Okay.
And I like Drago's idea that you pick up, if they can pick up the tables on Friday and drop them back off on Monday. I'm not sure how big of an event this is. It's just at that time of year, we could have snow, sleet. I just don't want our property being damaged out in the elements.
Just go ahead, Jennifer, please. Thank you, Mayor.
In that case, I would recommend changing the resolution. We can keep the mover and seconder. We have Councillor Belinda Kissmaker and Councillor Peter Kissmaker as mover and seconder. But I would recommend changing the motion to one to defer. So if you're okay with that, I can review it.
You do defer, we have all agreed upon? Agreed. Mayor, for suggested. Please go ahead.
Okay, be it resolved that council defers item 8.3 Kids Sport Hornepayne request for support autism awareness celebration to the September 24th, 2025 council meeting.
All in favor? Carried. Thank you for the discussion.
Just
8.4.
Just one
Sorry,
more
go ahead, please.
discussion on that. So, but we are gonna inform them ahead of time so that they can move forward, like we are going to try and assist. Just so they're not in limbo, because the 24th to the 4th isn't very much time.
Yeah, we can advise
you.
about the chairs. Yeah, like tables
Okay.
and chairs, yes.
Thank you, Jen.
No problem.
Thank you. Item 8.4, Hornepayne Studio 6, request for 2025 municipal property tax relief. May I have a mover and a seconder, please? Councilor Schumann, Councilor Belinda Kistemaker.
Be it resolved that council denies the request for tax relief from municipal property tax for the year 2025. Be it further resolved that council shall consider offering assistance in the promotion of this new business. Be it finally resolved that council directs staff to advise this business of any upcoming property tax relief options that will be available for any future expansion of the business under the community improvement plan, which is about to be implemented.
Thank you. Gordon, the floor is yours.
Yeah, the report, I think, explains my look into this request. I don't believe we have an option of making a singular tax adjustment on a property. And that's why I wanted to point out the other options, the CIP and whatever, and to help. We want to try and help this business. It's great that Hornepayne has this new business going, and it seems to be thriving currently, hoping that they will be looking at expansion, and maybe we can do something through the CIP at that point in time financially to assist there. And in the meantime, just do whatever we can do to try and help promote that business and make sure it survives.
Thank you, Richard. Input, comments, council. Obviously, the municipal act dictates what municipal council does, what we'll do, and I mean, that's pretty clear. So there's no loopholes there. You know, it's black and white. And obviously, I agree with Richard with all the other suggestions that he has given. And yes, we should assist. It's a new business, and we want to see him thrive like anyone else in this community.
Mm-hmm.
Mayor Ford, please go ahead.
Yeah, my question is about the CIP. Had our CIP been implemented, would they have qualified under any incentives for the new build under the CIP?
I believe they would have, yes. And maybe the economic development officer would have a better handle on that than I do.
Under the programs, their business potentially could qualify. They'd have to fill out an application and sit there for.
I have a hard time hearing that. Did you hear that?
Yeah.
Okay, Richard?
No, I didn't. Sorry.
Please go ahead.
I said, under the CIP, they would have qualified for some of the incentives. They would have had to complete the application and gone through the process of approval, and then.
I believe though that the CIP bylaw was implemented after the building permit was issued. So
Yes.
I think the building permit was issued well before the CIP bylaw was implemented. I think 2023 or 22 was the building permit, but
Yes.
the CIP 2023.
Right. My question was, had it been implemented, they could have qualified.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Any further comments? Seeing none, all in favor? Carried. Item 8.5, M. O'Keefe, request for early hockey season. For 25 507, request for early hockey season. M. O'Keefe, request for early hockey season. May I have a mover and a second, please? Councilor Terry Cinnamon. Councilor Peter Kissemaker.
Be it resolved that council receives clerk report number 2025-07 for information and denies the request for an early hockey season this year as it is not feasible. Be it further resolved that council directs staff to work with the Hornepayne Minor Hockey Association to plan for a potential early start in the 2026-2027 hockey season.
Would you have anything to add to your report, Jennifer?
Sure. I received the correspondence from Mr. O'Keefe. And I did reach out to Dwayne, the Public Works Manager, to see if this was possible. A lot of, pretty much everything for the ice startup is planned very far in advance, like up to a year in advance. So the gentleman who does the painting and assists with putting in the ice does it for like a lot of Canada and cannot come before October 22nd in any way, even if we offered more money, he cannot make it. And in addition to that, we have an agreement with Simcoe that requires 3 inspections, 1 at the startup, 1 in the middle, and 1 at the end, if I'm not mistaken. And the one at the startup has already been scheduled for the end of October, so it wouldn't be able to meet that either. And we don't have the supplies in yet, as this was quite short notice. But we would be interested in doing this in the future. We would just have to start planning for next year now. Is there anything I missed? Okay.
Please go ahead.
Yeah, I think it's pretty straightforward there. Like, I'm a strong proponent of minor hockey and Hornepayne. Both my boys grew up doing it and they're still enjoying it. But even without the financial concerns, it's logistically impossible.
Yeah.
But it's nice that people are reaching out. They show any interest in the arena and expanded services is good.
I think
I want to encourage it.
I think if they start early, for example, in January of next year, in concert with our budget, so we also know what the budget is. It's nice to start early, but once we start working on our budget in concert with the request, we could get back to them earlier as well and see if there's extra costs. So I think the recommendation is well taken.
Mayor Ford has anything to add?
Please go ahead, Mayor Ford.
Yeah, I totally agree with Drago and Peter's comments that we need to work, and I think sooner than later, even now, because we're going to be doing our budget coming October, November, and hopefully, looking at passing something early January. So those conversations need to be had. I am in total favor, I have been since the beginning, of trying to have that facility used 365 days a year and having the ice in sooner. I want to work with that. The only other concern that I do want to flag is if that we possibly will be having renovations going on in the building. So if that's happening, then we may not be able to do an early start next year. I leave that to staff in the discussions with Hornepayne Minor Hockey Association, and of course all the other users as well, because there is costs and fees associated with opening earlier.
Please go ahead.
What about staying open once the ice and everything's in there, like extending the or that's probably not gonna work because the hockey's all done come that time of year, right? Right. Yeah, I was just thinking the logistics of can't go earlier, but if we can go later, but it won't be any benefit to go later, but I just know like lots of times when the ice goes out at the end of March or in April, there's all those tournaments at the end of April and our kids would always be without ice time. Maybe that's something we could consider if it's within our means.
Any further comments? Input? Being none, all in favor? Motion? 8.5?
Of denying,
Right.
yes.
Okay, thank you very much. Carried. Item 8.6, C&D Paul Current Club opening. Jennifer, please.
So we received correspondence from the C&D Paul Curling Club about starting curling earlier this year. I spoke to the Public Works Manager and it was delayed last year, I believe, because there were issues with the plant itself. So the intention is to start it up right after the ice for hockey is put in. As for their request about the rent, that's something that council will have to discuss during the budget, but they do have their rent waived for the calendar year of 2025. So they don't pay rent until January. So council has time to kind of figure that out. And we have looked at moving equipment if possible for more window space as per their request. But from my understanding, we don't have anywhere that we can put any more fitness equipment. And I'm not sure if you have anything else to add to that. Okay. And Mayor Ford has her hand up.
Mayor Ford, go ahead, please.
Yeah, I just wanted to say, I'm glad, Jen, that you brought that up, because I had that in my notes, that did we not relieve payment till 2025, the end of 2025? I would like to reiterate again, just like I said to Hornepayne Minor Hockey, that we discuss with the curling club next year, because those fees for the season of 2026 starting and the ending portion of the 2025 season will be on that 2026 budget. So I'd like to see conversations happening in the background so that we have an informed budget. And that's all my comments. And and I just want to give a shout out to the curling club. I have no problem with them ever using that upstairs space for whatever they need when curling season's not on. Make stuff happen, and they've been highly contributing to our community. The only just for safety's sake is to let people know that you're in the facility, or talk to someone to say that you're going to be using it. That would be my only concern, just to ensure that we know when it's protected and you're safe.
Thank you. Any further comments? Please go ahead.
I don't know if it's the right time to bring it up, but again, the gym space. We keep putting it off because potential expansion of the arena, this and that, but this could be years down the road. When are we gonna, can we come up with a date? If it's not done by a certain date, we'll go ahead and build a separate, like a small build or something like this that could actually work. Because the curlers have been without their club for way too long.
Respectfully, I'd like to speak to that. The Public Works Manager and the EDO and I sat down today with JL Richards and the Treasurer, and with the plan that they have, they're coming back with some drawings fairly quickly to us. And we're also looking for additional funding. I've asked the EDO to do a quick report for the next council meeting, just to get permission to go ahead and look for whatever other funding we can get to reduce our portion so that we can go ahead next year. I'm adverse to sending back money to the ministry and paying for work that's not going to happen. So I very much want to look for, we have about 1.2 million. I'm going to also be speaking with the librarian probably tomorrow, because there's no time today after this meeting, to ask her to look for funding for the shelving, whatever other components of the library portion to reduce to contribute to our portion through that. There's also a small fund that's been set aside for the library. I believe it's about 70,000. The treasurer can confirm that, and I'm going to ask her to contribute that to our portion of that, at least to the capital expansion as well. And then whatever we can contribute, and hopefully through NOHFC or Trillium or some other funding, maybe there'll be some NORDs that opens up again. If we can staff the provincial portion to reduce it, I see no reason not to move forward next year.
Excellent.
So,
Any further comments, input?
I think
Richard?
I just wanted to comment and say there's a reserve for the library at little over 100,000. There's also a fitness weight training reserve of 28,000. So if we're successful in getting some funding for the library fixtures that they need, there's the possibility of over 100,000 being contributed to the township's portion of that expansion. And that's what we're looking for, is every nickel we can to make sure that this project goes forward. And one thing that the CAO did not mention is there's a deadline of next year for that funding too. So if the project doesn't get built in 2026, we're going to lose that grant money and the whole thing will be off. So we're doing everything we can to make sure the costs are as low as we can get them, to make sure we get a good facility, but we also need to come up with the money for the township share. Okay.
So, through you, we're gonna have, what is it, the RPS that you gotta put out for the request for
The RFP.
the RFPs? When, we're gonna have to have those out shortly so we can actually get contracts like shovels in the ground by next year, right?
They would probably put the RFP
Over
between,
the winter.
And so it'll be put out here shortly then, I guess.
The other thing that we're looking at is possibly changing material for the exterior and some of the interior materials as well, so they're not so high end. So they become more cost effective.
Okay, thanks.
Any further comments?
Mayor Ford has her hand.
Mayor Ford, please go ahead.
Yeah, was it discussed? I'm not sure where it is in the process. I can't remember from the last time they brought it to our table. But I know at one point we were putting in several new washrooms and facilities, and it was to meet the building code. I'm not sure. We had talked at that time because of the size of the facility that you had to put so many in. Did we pass a bylaw saying that we were going to minimize the capacity of that facility, and then if we had other events, we would supply porta potties? I can't remember when we had that discussion. It was quite a while ago now.
so
Please go ahead.
at the 30%, in design, this building will be standalone. It will be connected to the old building, but all the systems will be separate. So we don't have to upgrade the actual existing facility because it would be over the scope. So this new build will be a separate heating system, cooling system, electrical system, so that we don't have to upgrade the existing facility, fire code, bathrooms.
Thanks.
Any further comments on Mayor Ford?
Oh, okay, so I guess my question is on that new facility with the weight room and the library. I just, for me, I just know that, you know, I like having lots of washroom space. I'm not against that. But if there's a way to minimize it, like, I'm not sure what the plans are then, because I haven't seen this new plan of how many washroom facilities and that sort of thing that are being put in there. The last time I had looked at the plan, the new accessible washroom was going to be at the end of where the canteen currently is. So anyway, I'm just saying that there's an option there that if you need to minimize the capacity of the facility to decrease a washroom, which saves us, I think it was somewhere to the tune of 200,000 or something, I would be willing to do that or look at it.
Any further comments? I agree with the mayor. We have to minimize the cost of number one, materials, type of material, the quality material. Something very sturdy, yes, but nothing Taj Mahal. Minimum washrooms, minimum, whatever the minimum standards are. And as Councilor Peter said, we talked about this too long. And it seems every year curling clubs comes back, we get the same little story. We did other facilities such as outdoor baseball field, and we went forth and did it for a couple of years as well. But this has to be acted on this year, 100%, because number one, you lose your money, and it's not a good situation. Yeah. All right. Any further comments to that? Okay. Item 8.7, Sheila Toski, concerns regarding transparency, bylaw compliance, and public engagement. Manuela, CAO, please.
I can speak to this. So I'll take us back to the August 1st letter that Ms. Latowski submitted, and I'll comment to some of those comments. So her first item on the August 1st letter was use of taxpayers' funds for treasurer's education. It is my understanding that the former treasurer completed municipal accounting and finance programs where she achieved, and she goes on to describe. So I'm not going to discuss publicly anybody's training or what they did achieve or didn't achieve. That's a private matter, and I won't discuss it publicly. She does further go on to say, you know, she wants an explanation as to why council chose to dismiss a high-performing publicly funded employee without adequate justification to residents. So council has a right to reorganize their organization to meet whatever obligations they feel they need to meet, and that was the council's decision, and they moved forward. Current interim treasurer arrangement. So she's asking, how long does the municipality intend to retain the interim treasurer, who the public knowledge is based in Kingston and has only visited our municipality once? What are the terms of this arrangement, and how does this serve the best interest of residents compared to employing qualified local staff? So in answer, our acting treasurer will remain with us until a CFO is hired, and we've transitioned that CFO into their new position. Distance is not a factor in any type of a financial arrangement. I perform bookkeeping and accounting services for businesses from Winnipeg to Ajax, and I've never been there. So to attend their principal places, I've been doing their books for over 20 years. So you don't really have to be somewhere to perform a financial service for that organization. What are the terms of this arrangement, and how does it serve the best interest? Well, we all know it's a contract term, like it's a contract position. The acting treasurer here is here to help us out, and he's done a fantastic job. He works 2 to 3 days a week. He's now working a 5-day week, and he's reduced our FIR costs, or auditing costs, by doing the FIR at least $20,000 a year. He's performed some other functions internally to improve what we're doing as well. So there's been a good savings, and I think those savings are well appreciated by the residents. Compliance with the Municipal Act and special meeting was point 3 of her letter. She's formally requesting copies of all public advertisements and notices issued to residents regarding the special meeting held on July 29th, as required under the Municipal Act. She adds, I also request disclosure of any resolutions that resulted from the closed session and any declaration of conflict of interest. So the published agenda constitutes notice. So when that agenda was published, notice was given to the public. There were no resolutions, and I believe there was no conflict of interest, but the clerk can confirm that for me at a later time if necessary. Bylaw non-compliance and legality of dismissal. So she's seeking a written explanation as to how treasurer was terminated while the bylaw number 1469 remains in effect, and the bylaw clearly states, and she goes on to say that the bylaw appointed the treasurer. So this was a sequence of events that occurred, and for the purpose of the restructuring, it was in the order and the sequence that it needed to occur. Furthermore, bylaw 2043, which appointed the acting treasurer, remains active. If that individual is still employed, what legal grounds does council rely on to restructure and repost? So this bylaw that makes Richard our acting treasurer keeps us compliant with the Municipal Act, and it fulfills the obligation of having a treasurer until the CFO is hired. So that was the August 1st letter. And the reason why I went back to that one is because really she reiterates it in her next letter, August 22nd. I'm not going to read the whole letter. She has 4 summary points on the back. Request for a response. I respectfully request council to provide a public response addressing the legal authority for terminating the treasurer, deputy clerk, so I'm sorry, was treasurer, before bylaw 1469 was repealed, which was the bylaw that appointed the previous treasurer, and justification for the retroactive application of 2151. 2151 repealed 1469, and it was repealed retroactively to the date of the termination. So I think those 2 things are housekeeping, and it really had to go hand in hand, and it was the order of implementation. Why the legislative and procedural concerns in the correspondence could not be addressed in open session. So when that council went in August 1st, when the letter was first presented to council, the letter was accepted as correspondence and set aside. And it was not discussed publicly because there were quite a few personal items, or we felt that there was personal items or items that were private in that letter. We didn't want to disclose them. The rationale for introducing a frivolous and vexatious policy discussion in the same context as my letter. So in no way, shape, or form did I want to introduce a frivolous or vexatious policy in context to Ms. Lachowski's letter or any individual's letter, but I do feel it's a policy that's rational and needed, not only in Hornepayne, but throughout the province, throughout the country. So one of the big things that we learned at the AMO conference was incivility is a huge problem, not only in Northern Ontario or all of Ontario. It's a problem in Saskatchewan, Alberta, BC, and the East Coast, federally, provincially, and locally. This is a problem. It was really the topic of discussion for the conference. And not only was it a topic of discussion, it was also an exercise for many people, for AMO and for other the Healthy Democracy Forum. Many people were really studying the problem and looking for solutions. So being proactive with our policies, and we've made a commitment to start writing policies and improving our policies. And for me, the staff is very important. It's number one, and we have policies to protect our staff is important. And that is my rationale behind the frivolous and vexatious policy. It's also my rationale behind the R-zone policy. I think we all do need to be respectful to one another. The R-zone policy is respect for ourselves, respect for others, and responsibility for our actions. And that brings me back to our fitness facility, and there's been some problems there. And I would love to see an R-zone policy, and that's why I'm writing it to bring to council, so that we can implement these policies to make things better, safer, and healthier for everyone concerned. Number 4, why there was no public discussion of the timing discrepancy in repealing of bylaw 1469. Bylaw 1469 repealed, or the repealing of bylaw 1469 was repealing the previous treasurer's appointment as treasurer, and that was a housekeeping matter at the time. So that's all I really have to say to that, unless there's any question.
Any comments and quick questions? Members of council. I have a comment. You will also respond in writing to that author of the letters?
What would council? I would be responding on behalf of council.
The items discussed this
I can
evening.
respond in writing.
I think that's crucial. People have not seen the meeting or not interested in watching it. I think it is incumbent on us as a municipal council that we address the number 1, number 2, that's put in writing.
Okay, thank you.
All agreed?
Yep.
Mayor Ford has her hand.
Mayor Ford, please.
Yes, I also want to just double check our procedure bylaw about requests that come to council table, and ensure that once this letter and all of those things are outlined that Manuela so elegantly spoke to, that it's done. If it's a new submission, that's fine, but I do believe it's in our procedure bylaw. If we can just at our next council meeting, have that referred to. I know there's time limits on when things can come back to council table.
Clerk has her hand up.
Please go ahead.
If I may speak to it, there actually were other items that were requested to be put on this agenda that were specific ones that were on the last agenda, and I advised that council does not, like per the procedure bylaw, if it has been discussed, it will not be discussed again for 12 months unless there's new information. I did feel that this letter, because it did have questions that were not included in the original letter, constituted newer information, but for the ones that were sent the exact same and asked to be put back on, I advise that it is, unless there's new information, there's a 12-month wait period before a item is reconsidered.
Okay, thank you for that, Jen. And of course, that was no, I wasn't thinking of anything done in the background of staff of this time. I just in the future when we're looking at it, and I don't have the policy with me, so I didn't actually look it up. So thank you for that, Jen.
Thank you. We'll proceed if no other questions or comments. 8.8, and Madeiras request for disclosure authorities for restructuring for enhanced service delivery. CEO Manuela, please.
So Mr. Madeiras had sent a email, I believe this was an email, and he's quoted sections of the Municipal Act referring to or alluding to restructuring. The section of the act that he has quoted has to do with municipal. Restructuring of like geographical restructuring. So if two communities were going to amalgamate.
Right. Would you like to take a recess?
Oh, I think I'm okay.
Okay.
So it's, his email is confusing and it's not consistent and, what he's talking about is not, it has nothing to do with the administrative restructuring that happened. So the act that, the portion of the municipal act or the section of the municipal act that he's quoting has to do with geographical restructuring between two communities, not with internal administrative restructuring.
All right. Any comments or input from members of council?
Mayor Ford has her hand.
Mayor Ford, please.
Yeah, thank you
Go
for
ahead.
that, Mr. Chair. I was concerned about the letter because there's quite a few items in the letter that are, I don't know where these figures are coming from. And I'm getting quite impatient when it comes to dealing with blatant lies. So this chief financial officer annual salary, 180,000 to 450,000. I know myself, I never gave authorization for such a salary. If I ever did, Hornepayne, I tell you right now, you don't ever reelect me. That's not the way I work. The combined total salaries, this 1.3 million of council's term and the amount for rent, I'm quite concerned about this. And quite frankly, I just wonder if other municipalities, when they're getting letters of this just continuous falsehoods in the letters, do they even come to council table? Like, this is first of all, I have empathy in the sense of I understand the family is dealing with harsh realities of what happened with the restructuring. I can understand that, but coming with just blatant falsehoods and attacking other positions at the community, I'm at some point this is not like, as a mayor, what is my position to protect the staff in the municipality? And quite frankly, this letter is upsetting in the sense that there's just too much falsehood in it. It's not accurate. And maybe furthermore, when people are trying to interpret the Municipal Act and they're not a lawyer, do we ask them to get a lawyer to look at it? Like, I'm just not sure. This doesn't, I don't even understand where this portion's coming from. And I'm sorry for just verbing this out this way, but quite frankly, in the background, in the forefront, I am tired of dealing with this type of falsehood.
Richard, go ahead, please.
Yeah, I just want to confirm what the mayor has said. A lot of the figures and information that is in that letter is totally wrong. So I just want to confirm that from the treasurer's point of view, those numbers are not anywhere near accurate. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Councilor Peter.
I'd like to add to this is this and amongst the other letters that have been being handed in by Mr. Medeiros, just the total unpractical, the quantities, the numbers, the numeric values of things. They're obviously, so no matter how you want to preface it and put it on paper to make people believe you, when you go so overboard like this, if there is any credibility, it's gone. And it speaks volumes of how much effort are we going to put into this, because I think it's a waste of time. This is absolutely ridiculous. And there's not one person that reads these that would not agree 100%. $450,000 or $350 for a salary, that's pretty good money. More than a doctor makes. Where would you come up with that?
if I may.
Please go ahead.
I
Jennifer.
also did pull up our job posting for the chief financial officer, and the salary range was listed as 92,374 to 118,866, depending on experience.
So he extrapolated that up to almost $500,000.
Yeah.
But it helps his argument, I guess.
Okay, thank you, Mayor, for comments on Council Peter. Mayor Ford, go ahead, please.
Yeah, and I want to further address this falsehood that's in the community, and it's enhanced in this letter under item 1, or sorry, under where is it here? About closed sessions. The municipality has to follow the legislation that puts things into closed session. If we have a closed session, it's because we legally cannot talk about it in the public. And furthermore, closed sessions are more work. As a council, I think everyone at council table would agree that if we don't have to have a closed session, we don't want to have a closed session. It causes us to sit there longer. We have to go through more meeting minutes, and it causes more work for the staff. So for a closed session, I know my feeling is if we don't have to have it, let's not have it. But Hornepayne, we're growing. We have investments. We have people looking at property. We have different things going on in the staff. We have to protect staff. We have to do training. We can't do training out in the public because that is a monetary gain for that person that's providing the training. They're not going to let us record the training for all public consumption when they are paid for that training. So there's multiple areas where we have to go in camera. If we don't have to go on camera, we don't go in camera. So and it's disclosed in this happening in all those closed sessions, which enhances this nefariousness that's going on. And quite frankly, if we didn't have to have a closed, I wouldn't have a closed session. It's more work and it's more time for everyone sitting around the table. And I'll refrain from speaking more on it.
Thank you, Mayor Ford. So back to 8.9 item, I assume the CA will respond in writing. And once that issue has been dealt with in writing, we do not discuss it here in another 12 months. That's what our policy says.
Yep.
And that, I want to follow that very strictly then.
Thank you.
Once it was discussed verbally.
Yep.
But CEO, people had input, and it will be written, so those issues will no longer be discussed at the table.
Thank you.
Item 8.10, and the dearest,
8.9.
I am so sorry, I apologize. 8.9, and Madeira's formal complaint regarding clerk's statutory breach and request for immediate action. Manuela, please.
So Mr. Medeiros came into the township quite a few weeks ago. He requested immediate access to the record book. I unfortunately was at a meeting with Catherine Lewis at the Hornepayne Housing Corporation and wasn't present. And those records are kept locked in my office, in a cabinet closet in my office. They've always been there as far as I know. So Jen didn't have access to my office, so she wasn't able to pull out the records and show him. So she did proceed to say, like, they're available online. Not everything he wanted. They were available online. He wanted to see the physical records. So in that he came back later that day, and I said to him, you know what, that's great. Come tomorrow at 2:00 and we'll make sure that we have them for you. So he didn't come. He didn't show up. Sorry, he didn't show up. He's complaining that they weren't available. He's not mentioned that he didn't show up for the appointment that we arranged for him. Also, the clerk had advised him, like, in the future, please, make an appointment. He was quite aggressive with her, and that's not acceptable. He was in and out of her office, unwelcomed, uninvited, and aggressive in his manner, and it's not anything that any employee should have to endure. We spoke to the Ministry of Municipal Affairs and Housing regarding the reasonability of asking somebody to come within a normal time or to set an appointment. So there's nothing wrong. Reasonable. The word reasonable is defined not in the Municipal Act, but within the council. So we're a small community with limited people to get jobs done. So it's not unreasonable to say reasonable in this case would be 3 to 5 business days. We don't have a policy setting it out. Maybe it's a good idea to, as we're doing our policies, we're going to define reasonable. So for sure, it's not unusual for there to be several business days in order for a township to meet its obligations. And it's not unreasonable to require appointments in order to accomplish tasks that people are requesting to accomplish. So I believe that the clerk would also like to speak to this matter, but I want to, before she does, add on here or add to my comments, really not related to his letter, but my personal feelings from having been here for several months now. Jennifer acted as the clerk when she was deputy clerk for many, many, many months when there was no CAO clerk. So she took on that role and I believe she did it well. She took on many of the responsibilities of the CAO when there wasn't one, and did some things maybe fall between the cracks in that time period. Maybe, I don't know. I'm not going to go back and look for them. I'm going to applaud the effort that she made and the work that she's done and how well she continues to serve our community. So thank you, Jennifer.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Go ahead, Jennifer, please.
I also wanted to mention one of his other issues that he had was that not all the signed minutes were on the website. This was one of the things that fell through the cracks when we didn't have a CAO. He does say it was 18 months. It was not 18 months. However, they have since been added, but secondarily, when we spoke to the Ministry of Municipal Affairs and Housing, we had asked if it was required to be signed minutes on the website, and they advised no. And most places actually do not provide signed minutes on the website for security purposes. They will usually have ones that just say original signed by blank. And because we had our draft minutes on the website, we were not failing to provide them to the public at any point because they were on each agenda. So the draft minutes were available to the public at all times. And it's actually best practice now not to post signed minutes. And Mayor Ford has her hand up.
Well, Mayor Ford, please go ahead.
Yeah, I was quite concerned when I heard that about the signed minutes. I had thought that in the past that, my signature's all out on the municipal pages all over. Thankfully, we can recruit that and get that changed, and I can change my signature.
Okay. Thank you. Go ahead, please.
I actually wasn't going to use this opportunity, but I was going to bring a report to council in the near future to request council's approval in slowly, because it will take time, going back and changing all of our minutes from signed minutes online to ones that say original signed by blank, whoever has signed it, rather than having council members and staff members' signatures available online just for ease of forgery. It's a common practice.
Any comments from that? No, please go ahead.
Thank you. Just to reiterate, and I'm not, so you are satisfied that we are not in breach of any of these things that he has allegedly stated?
Yes.
We're okay, there's nothing there that can come back and bite us, that we have checked to make sure that everything that he has cited is something that we have been able to say, no, we're in good standing with that?
Yeah.
Thank you.
If I may, I shared his correspondence with the Ministry of Municipal Affairs and Housing and had a meeting with them. We did to confirm that what he said, and I was fully honest. Yes, I did not get the minutes posted while we didn't have a CAO, but the drafts were available. I didn't hide anything. I shared everything that he provided, and I was told that in no way were we in breach.
Thank you.
Any further comment? I have a comment because you check with the ministry. So if a person requests information, any type of information that it's allowed by the public, and the ministry doesn't say there's any timeline, I think we should really have a written policy to state it in writing. Whatever the administration comes up with, maybe 3 days or 5 working days, I think you should have that so there'd be no misconception by anyone. So we know exactly the path we're heading.
Mm-hmm.
You'll see that there's a policy on this agenda further down. And it is just a policy on how we will do policies from now on so that we can have clear, easy to access, easy to understand policies on how things will be done. And one of the ones that we're looking at doing is to do with communications.
Any further comments? Being none, we'll continue to item 8.10 now. We're at that. In the dearest urgent environmental concern, conflict of interest, breach of trust, and formal notice of breach, former ANF Kissinger property, 19 Becker Road, Hornepayne, Ontario. CAO, please.
So, Mr. Madeira's made a, report to the Ministry of Environment, Ministry of Municipal Affairs and Housing, I think the Crown Attorney, I think maybe a few other places, regarding the 19 Becker property. So we met, Dwayne, the Public Works Manager, and myself met with our Ministry of the Environment Compliance Officer yesterday. We spent a couple hours with her. We went through the property. She took some notes. She's going to send us email. We formulated a plan with her on how to deal with this and remediate this property for probably, we're hoping, less than $100,000, and move forward with the rest. So I think the most important thing here is that we're working with our own Ministry of Environment Compliance Officer to do the right thing. Dwayne, do you have anything to add there?
No, you covered exactly. Can I add something?
Sure.
Just to add to that, even if it does, which I highly doubt, but, and I want this to be public for the public to see it, to squash any misinformation that's being put out there right now, the actual cost of remediation when it's done. But the garage that we have right now, the municipal employees have falling down. And I would be willing to bet my lunch money that less than 5 years, we won't have a place to work on the equipment. To get a building like the one that we're gonna get is, at today's cost, would be a minimum $2 million. The individual that wrote the letter is worried about the seniors. How would a $2 million impact on the seniors' taxes do? We're gonna get it for a fraction of the cost, and it's gonna fit our needs perfectly. It would be totally irresponsible for all 5 of us and all the staff to not go ahead and do what we did. And I want to say thank you very much, Manuela, for working so hard and getting it done. We all owe you a debt of gratitude for that.
Thank you.
For comments, any further comments from the council? Please go ahead.
I guess what comes to mind is who vetted the property. Yeah, like where was it? We didn't do an appraisal. We did trust Pastor or Councillor Kistemaker's opinion of what the building was worth, but then we did allow ourselves to get into a spot where we shouldn't. That property should have been vetted or appraised to be able to do that. Would have come up. They would have said we need a phase 1 or a phase 2 environmental, and we wouldn't be looking at this. So we can't undo this, but looking forward, we need to make sure that we look to make sure that we don't put ourselves back in there. I mean, it's serious. I mean, yes, her first look might say this is going to be $100,000.
Well, no, sorry, she didn't give us a number.
Then we're hoping to.
Yeah.
Then it could easily, depending on how deep that stuff is leached into and how long it's been leaching, turn into much more serious.
My understanding is primarily clay in that area.
And just so you know, the numbers that were given are completely false. 80% or 90% of the barrels were empty. And I can say that with surety.
I went over and kicked a bunch of barrels and they didn't all, 80% of them didn't seem empty to me.
We might have a little bit of water in it, but they were empty.
Anyways, it is
Okay.
serious and we need to make sure that going forward in future that we're a little more careful, I think.
Mayor Fort, go ahead, please.
Okay, just a couple of comments there. First of all, just to remind council that we don't go on properties and check them out personally. I think that was just said by one of the counselors that they went and checked the barrels to see if they were full. That just is not to occur. That's up to the staff.
Mhm.
Due diligence on that building. Did we not talk about the building inspector a few months ago? Looking at that building?
Not when I was here.
Go ahead, Richard.
Richard, go ahead.
Yeah, I'd just like to comment. I've been working with CRA for over a year on that property. When we first put it up for tax sale was even before my coming on board with the township. We did have a couple of closed sessions where we talked about the township acquiring it, vesting it. The biggest problem was the CRA liens. And so this has been discussed with council for over a year in closed session. I just want the public to know that. That's another, it's a purchase of property. We've dealt with it. Council all knew, and if there were issues that they thought we should be checking the contamination, I think that should have been mentioned long ago. Yes, we all knew there were some barrels there. You can see them from the road. They're minor in number, I believe, and but I think I give Manuela a lot of credit. She was able to put this deal together with getting rid of the CRA lien in the short period of time that she is there, where I've been working on it for over a year. And so it's been something that's been ongoing for quite a while. Just wanted to make that known.
Yeah, thank you for that, Richard, because I'm pretty sure that's what it was, is when we had, I'm not sure as much as what I can say in the open session, but I do think that property was looked at, and we'd have to go back in those records to find out. But I was under the assumption during all talks that there could possibly be some cleanup that we needed to do, surface cleanup. But at the same time, we're under the gun because we have to have a garage for our employees by the end of this year. There is no more movement. Is it not the Tulloch report that gives the end date this year?
Mhm.
Like, I'm not, so anyway, I am not going to defend the actions of council in this. I think we did a really good decision, and I would have more concerns about the public on our private properties taking photographs.
Yeah.
And and just one further thing, Mr. Chair,
Go ahead,
and
please.
alluding to misconduct of council members.
Please go ahead.
And it was stated very clearly in the letter. I'd like to point out that my sister-in-law and I, God forbid, we are family, and we were elected the first term, and we were not ever owners of it. It's a corporation, and it was sold, and we didn't abandon it. Like, it's nothing but fictitious, and as far as I'm concerned, malicious, and it's bordering on defamation and harassment. And you know what? This not just going to take it lightly, because it's all lies. And just because my family name is tied to it, I'm still going to defend it. And then forget the part that was my father's company, which was a corporation, and we weren't even willed it. It was in a trust, and I was a beneficiary of it. And yes, I was the secretary. I just, again, but I get, maybe if that helps his argument and makes him feel better, go ahead. I got wide shoulders. But if you're going to say something, you're going to try to smudge me and smudge my sister-in-law, be even close to factual. Just don't pull these ideas and these things and open up a thesaurus to get all these fancy terms to make yourself look better, because it just really speaks volumes of what's behind this. It has nothing to do with the seniors. It's a personal vendetta and nothing more.
Thank you. Report, did you have your hand up? No, okay, I'm seeing things now, okay. My fault. Just a comment, there were so many moving parts to this project. The staff worked very diligently, I have to say it, that's a fact of life. However, in the future, if you ever take over, and I was part of council, you gotta be more diligent to look at the property, because we were all in a rush. The reason is, because the old garage, it's unsafe, unstable, I get that. So our focus was CRA, the building moving out, and I think was slightly overlooked, where we should have due diligence to look at the property by administration. The visual check, and yeah, there was some discussion, we can't go specific in camera, but I just like to, in the future, because I know when I'm sitting here, I like a more thorough look at the property,
But the visual checks now were done
right,
by the management and shovels in the ground, and we're taking a look at it. And, yes, and as far as what Councillor Schindlerman said earlier was, when the wheels are in motion and every month that adds to it before we get it, it just adds to the cost, and it adds to the desperation of the situation.
understand.
And in desperate times, which we are, this was a godsend, and I'm just gonna leave it at that. And then, you know what? Time will be the proof.
Right.
And then, you know, that'll be a quantifiable explanation for the decision that was made and the timelines. But I do agree with the due diligence, absolutely. But in this case, I'm gonna defend 100% what we did.
Okay, thank you. We'll move on. Item number 9, correspondence information only. You may have a mover and a seconder, please. Council Brenda Kissemaker, Council Schirman.
Be it resolved that council does hereby acknowledge receipt of the correspondence information only package attached to the agenda of the regular meeting of council held on Wednesday, September 10th, 2025.
Any comments on the information only package? Any members of council?
Mayor. Oh, no, she's not working.
I'm seeing things too again. Being none, we'll proceed. All in favor? Carried. Item number 10 on the 10.1 committee and board updates. Please, Councilor Schindlerman.
Thank you. Nothing to report other than we will be having a hospital board meeting on the 24th, I believe it is. And we'll be back for the fall.
Anything else? Councilor Peter Kissemaker.
We attended AMO, or this went down, it was the mayor, Jen, and Manuel and myself. It was educational, and I thought that we bared some fruit, and we brought back a lot of good stuff, and there's a lot of good leads, and I think it's going to benefit Hornepayne going forward. And I will have a full report very shortly on the delegations as well as the learning sessions that I was involved with.
Thank you for the update. Councilor Belinda.
We did have an LCC meeting last night. One question I did ask the M&R was, when it comes to the bear situation, if, they do, still come into the community and pick up bears and take them somewhere or whatever, and, the response I got was yes. He did mention a person, so I was wondering if they charged communities for that. He didn't really, say that, but they do come and pick up bears. I know we used to have a trap within the community where they did that. I haven't seen it around, so I don't know how that works anymore. So, and I guess we're not the only ones having bear problems. It's everywhere.
Yeah.
And maybe that's why we're not seeing the M&R around. They're busy other places, but
Berries.
there is no berries for them to eat. So it is an issue. That's about it for now. And
Would you like the staff to follow up to see,
I might think that you want to.
because
Follow up with the M&R.
Yeah.
there's few walking around town
And I'll,
on hind feet.
What? If I,
Stand up like this. Please go ahead.
I did want to advise, earlier this week, I was informed, by actually a community member who was reaching out to find out if we knew anything, that the OPP has dispatched one of the bears in town.
Really?
The larger one
Yeah.
that was growling.
Oh, I didn't hear about
I
that.
think it was protecting from.
Or I think it was afraid. It was in a tree. I think people were crowding it, but it growled out of fear because it had nowhere to go. But they called the police and it was shot.
I prefer the more humane way of getting a trap on by MNR. And I think that makes more sense.
Yeah.
That's their role. Maybe you should follow up on that.
Absolutely.
Mayor Ford, please, update.
Yeah, thank you for bringing that up, Belinda. That was quite concerning to me. I've seen some of the posts online that people are trying to touch bears, feed bears. Bears are wild animals. They are unpredictable. And I think sharing the bear-wise information online would be proactive for us to do and remind people, especially when we have quite a few newcomers coming to Northern Ontario that might not in the past even had seen a bear, that sort of thing. And it just was interesting that when I was in Ottawa in July, I was talking with someone that lived in Ottawa and how the video footage for people that come into the city from around the world, it shows like feeding bears and, you know, presenting them as friendly animals that you can touch. And that's quite concerning. We had that conversation in July. I'm like, do they not know that at any time that bear can react? And in its one swipe of the paw, and that's even just a small bear. So I caution homeowners and people to, there's a number called local police on Bearwise Ontario. You can look up for information there and to ensure your garbage is being boxed up and kept in a container that's scent proof, or don't put your garbage out until Tuesday morning. And ensure that your barbecues are kept clean because they can do quite a bit of damage to a barbecue. And once a bear knows a feeding area, it will return. So you want to ensure that you keep those areas clean, free from any type of food or things that a bear would deem as edible, and until you dispose of them. So thank you, Belinda, for bringing that up. Is it my turn to go for roundtable,
Yes,
Chair?
that is correct.
Okay,
Please
great.
go ahead.
So I just want to again reiterate and give a shout out to the team that went down to AMO. I want to give a big thank you to the Ontario Good Roads Association for accommodating me as the president to be able to go to AMO, and a companion, which was graciously given to help with the expenses of Jen and Manuela to come down. That's above and beyond, and I am grateful for that. I have to say that the AMO conference for me was very difficult. We did a session on Saturday on incivility and harassment, and I found it quite informative. But as the conference went on, there was a few more sessions, and then I was approached to do an interview with for the information that they're gathering and collaborating on to make it better, which is, you know, it needs to happen. But at the same time, these are real incidents that are happening to mayors, councillors, and staff in the municipal world. And it's sad because I think that the more this occurs, people will think long and hard about the price they have to pay to be in municipal service. And I would hate to lose good people and have people reluctant to run in elections, because I said before, elections make communities better. You want a choice. So it was an overall very difficult conference for me personally. And I did cite that to the people doing the interviews, that there's, and I could not talk about everything that I have endured as a female Indigenous mayor, but it was encouraging to see the data that's out there that supports what I've gone through. So I see that they have a session coming up for their second roundtable conference session in October. Unfortunately, I wouldn't be able to attend that, but I want to applaud AMO for the work they're doing, and hopefully we can come up have some good resolutions and ways to move forward to lessen this. And some of the stats are staggering at how many attacks happen to your female elected politicians in the background. And it happens quite frequently. So so that did shadow my conference, but I have to say that all of the delegations that I was a part of were well presented. We're moving forward. The Northeast Superiors Merit Group moved forward with the Highway 17, trying to get further measures for when that's closed or when so that we can move more quickly and we're not seeing 2-day closures like the past washout that happened earlier this summer. And also safety measures put in place so that we can respond more quickly. And then it just so happened, coming down to Toronto on this trip, I was stopped 2 hours on the Highway 17 at a transport accident, and I had no cell service. So I was sitting there for 2 hours, no cell service, not sure what's going on. And in the wintertime, that would be devastating because you can't see anything and you wouldn't be able to turn around, and you might end up running yourself right into a car accident. So I reiterated that today at our Mayor's Group's Northeast Superiors Mayor's Group meeting, because we're going to follow up with letters to those delegations. And we also have the ear of Minister Lecce from the Ministry of Energy in supporting this, because there's a huge economic downturn when our highways are shut down and transportation's cut off. So I was really glad to collaborate with the Northeast Superiors Mayor's Group to move that forward. And a big shout out to Ontario Good Roads again for helping us bring together the information for that delegation in under a week. Following up for meetings coming up or meetings of the past, I want to just touch base on the rural impact, Hornepayne housing, and the Township of Hornepayne staff. I applaud the work that's been done in the background. I can't say enough that the tools are in the toolbox. We just have to figure out how to use them to best situate our community. There are very few municipal service corps created for housing. We have one of the only ones, I believe, in the northern part of the province that's actually self-sustaining and has a board that meets regularly. So that needs to be applauded, and thank those board members that come out. And I was pleasantly surprised by all the avenues this could move forward with. So I just leave that to the staff to continue that good work. And right now I'm in Toronto. I'll be attending Good Roads next tomorrow and Friday. And I have to say I'm disappointed. I didn't know Lady Gaga was in town, or I would have got tickets for tomorrow night. But I'm not spending $1,000. I looked them up. But anyway, that's my report. And at any time, council or community members can reach out, mayor@hornepayne.ca. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor, for the update. Real quickly, I had a FICP meeting, Immigration Pilot Programs, a steering committee virtually on September 4th. Today, we had an immigration pilot program, recruit North skilled workers. Stacy and I, it was basically a working lunch from 12 o'clock, started about 2:30. Excellent presenters. We got solid information. There are many moving parts, and Stacy mentioned to me she'll have that report for next council meeting, but there's a lot of moving parts, and we don't want to be wasting your time. There's rules, regulations, and it seems now the ministry is getting their act together because they're going to do the brunt of things. For example, new immigrants, they'll do all the screening of people that are coming to our country, or even from Quebec. They have to be French speaking, and they will do all the background to work. and Stacy will have the full report, so everybody, and she will go forth. Once she receives the packages, she'll be going to various businesses locally and personally deliver them and explain what's going on. And they also offered to have a virtual meeting in the future to really get the group excited. It's a new program, and a lot of times it's new. People are not certain what it's all about. I felt it was a solid 2.5 hours, as Stacy did as well. It was good, solid information. And at a library board meeting on September 30th, Tuesday. Thank you. Item number 11, new and other business, 11.1, capital projects update. New affordable rental housing subclass.
Separate.
So the first one, I'm sorry, I apologize.
So the-
11.1 capital projects update, please.
Wayne, did you want to speak to the third F project? Do you want to speak to how it's going, where we're at?
Going quite well. We're about, there's the way on the street now. Big surprises for sure. It's some massive boulders. A lot of them buried under the water lines. Went quite well though. The line is quite deep though where we are right now.
How deep is it?
Gonna get a lot deeper up by third and third, but right now probably around 15 feet, 14 feet.
Wow.
It is going ahead as planned. We're in about right spot. It should be a third and third and around the 22nd. Big connections.
That's on pretty well the halfway mark, eh?
Very much, yeah.
Did they expect those large shoes? I drove by down hall, they were massive.
Yes.
They did not expect that, obviously, then. I assume not.
There was indication by verbally, people had said there was rocks in there, but not the extent that we're seeing. Like some of them, these are massive excavators and they're coming back to pick them up right on the side. Had to drag them down the road.
Thank you.
I think we spoke earlier to some of the other projects, so the arena, the emergency work, the arena is almost done. There's new stairs at the back, the town hall's been painted. The arena washrooms are done, just not connected. One of the small projects have happened. I think the truck is on its way soon. So the dump truck, the roll-off dump truck will be here fairly soon.
I've been wondering about that one.
Yeah, that our understanding is that it's not.
Held up at Viking right now. Viking's behind on their production for the roller chassis stuff. City in Manawa right now.
So the first phase, what are we getting doing with the
Dump truck sander and dump box, so.
Nice.
We'll down to one truck maintained for a year, two bodies for it.
So I've also asked the public works manager to get a quote on fencing for around 19 Becker. I think it's important that we fence and protect that property. We'll have ownership very soon, and so we may have to speak with the treasurer regarding, once we have quotes, we can talk to the treasurer about what we'll do. I kept pushing for a hot box, but maybe we'll have to swap out a fence until spring. So we'll see. We'll bring it back to council when we have more information.
Well, the EDO did a really good job on the last one I've seen her built. Really.
Any comments on the capital projects update? Seeing none, we'll proceed. 11.2, new affordable rental housing subclass. Acting treasurer, please.
I think we've pretty well covered that earlier in my report, and this is where the council gets all of the details on what is being offered, and we're going to bring back some more information to the September 24th meeting.
Okay, thank you. I just want to make sure that everybody's clear on it. Thank you. Appreciate it. And we have a mover and a seconder to receive the acting treasurer's report, please. Council Peter Kissemaker, Council Belinda Kissemaker.
Be it resolved that council receives acting treasurer report number 2025-04 as information.
All in favor? Carried. Thank you. 11.3, small northern new residential property tax class. CAO, please.
So I think this is just reiterating our, we had the delegation with Minister Peary. Minister Peary seemed to support this initiative. We had a quick discussion with Minister Bethlen Falvey at AMO. So this is a formal request to put the proposal in front of the Ministry of Finance and to seek support from other ministries, particularly northern ministries. I think it's important for our northern ministries to support northern initiatives and also to put it forward to our neighboring northern communities all the way to the northwest and Phenom and Noma. So I'm asking council support for that.
We could have a
Yeah.
friendly amendment. How about Neoma as well, that the Mayor Ford is part of?
Mayor Ford, are you still on part of NEO?
Friendly amendment to put Neoma on there as well, because I know they discussed that as well when I was there a few months ago. Do you agree?
Yep, for sure. Yes, for sure.
Thank
And
you.
we have the Northeast Superiors Mayor's Group on there too?
They should be on there, but we should add them. It doesn't look like they are.
No, they're not.
Okay, they're gonna get double because it'll go to Noma and Phenom, but that'll be good to have them at those two groups and then they'll ask on our behalf where it's at.
Great.
Yeah.
Thank you, Drago.
Thank you. Any
And
further comments? All in favor?
We have not gotten a mover, so.
Oh, I'm sorry.
and AMO as well, even though it's been presented at
Please
AMO,
go
I
ahead.
think it's important to have AMO support as well. So if we can reach out to AMO as well.
Okay, thank you. So I apologize. We need a mover in a second. My apologies, Council Shinneman, Council Maker.
Whereas there is a visible disparity between the northern and southern population of Ontario. And whereas Northern Ontario has an abundance of opportunity in the form of municipally serviced building lots for both industry and population growth. And whereas property taxes discourage and prohibit the construction of new residential single-family dwellings. And whereas the addition of a small northern new residential property tax class and subclass will create an incentive for the building of new homes in small northern communities. Therefore be it resolved that the Council of the Corporation of the Township of Hornepayne does hereby request that the Honorable Minister Peter Bethlen Falvey, the Minister of Finance, amends the Assessment Act to include a small northern new residential property tax and subclass. Be it further resolved that this resolution be forwarded to the Honorable Doug Ford, Premier of Ontario, Bill Rosenberg, MPP Algoma Manitoulin, Minister George Peary, Minister Peter Bethlen Falvey, Minister of Northern Economic Development and Growth, Minister Paul Calandra, Ministry of Municipal Affairs and Housing, all Northern Ontario ministers, AMO, Phenom, Noma, Neoma, NESMG, and small Northern Ontario municipalities.
All in favor?
Mayor Ford
A
has
friendly,
So-
friendly
so-
amendment there. It's Minister Calandra is not the Minister of Housing and Affairs. It's Minister Rob Flack.
You.
And it should have read Minister George Peary, Minister of Northern Economic Development and Growth is Minister George Peary. Yes, I copied it.
Yes.
I'll fix it.
Okay.
Okay, thank you. And a note, thank you, Mayor. All in favor? Carry. Item 11.4, CAO, please.
Oh, sorry. I was like, what? Just a draft policy. So I have been working on policies for the vexatious and frivolous or public facing code of conduct. So I don't have them ready yet. I'd like to have them for September 24th or October 10th. So my plan is to work on them for the remainder of this week to finalize them and over the weekend and email them to council so you have time to review them prior to the September 24th meeting and have them added to that agenda if possible. So that as well as the R-zone policy. So the R-zone policy is more facing towards facilities, whether it's parks, arenas, the town hall itself. So it is very simply respect for yourself, respect for others, and responsibility for your actions. So it's a policy that just reminds people to behave kindly and respectfully And if you see others that aren't, please report it and it'll give you an avenue by which to do that. It was first implemented by Oakville. I've spoken to the city of Oakville and we have permission to use their policy with recognition to them. So I will adapt it for us and definitely give acknowledgement to them.
Thank you. Any comments, input from the CEO? Hearing none, we'll proceed. Item number 12, bylaws 12.1. Bylaw number 2155-25, Municipal and First Nation Automotive Materials Services Amending Agreement, Automotive Stewardship Inc., capital AMS. May I have a mover and a seconder, please? Councilor Belinda Fischer-Nicholas, Councilor Shinniman.
Be it resolved that bylaw number 2155-25, being a bylaw to authorize municipal and First Nations automotive materials services amending agreement between the Corporation of the Township of Hornepayne and Automotive Materials Stewardship Inc. AMS, be hereby read a first and second time and be considered at a third time and finally passed.
Any comments, input?
Mayor Ford.
Mayor Ford, please.
Yeah, can I just get some background on what this is? As I read through it too, and I just have one question about, there doesn't seem to be an exit clause of this.
I can look into it further. I'm sorry, I don't have the answer on the top of my head, but I believe it's part of our hazardous waste day.
That's my understanding as well.
So
Pardon me. I think this is for the collection of the automotive materials.
Right.
Yeah, I did gather that like when I read through it, I was just, because there's amendments to the agreement, so it's part of our hazardous waste day, and then it was just a couple of things were concerning to me. Sorry, now my buttons aren't working. Gosh.
Yeah, I can definitely follow up. So the exit clause and what other item?
It was the exit clause, and then the other item was the percentage of increase. Because with 15 days notice, they can increase it, but it like, anyway, I just had a couple of questions there. Is it going to hinder us if this doesn't pass by tonight?
No.
No? Okay, then, yeah,
No,
if we could get
I'll
those.
send you directly to them and yeah.
I did
Like
want to
those-
mention one thing. So this agreement, they pay us.
Right.
So it's, yeah, they pay us for these items.
Right, but when, oh, just a second, I'll find it.
I see what you're
a-
talking about in Article 3.
3, yeah, it's 15 days notice. It's basically to protect from inflation, right? Yeah, it's in the bottom. Sorry, I was going through it's in the Schedule B. Yeah, if we could just get some more information of how this is going to work and what exactly are they going to be able to collect. So when we do hazardous waste day now, they're going to pick up automobiles.
We've had this agreement in place already. This is just to amend it. I believe to update it for this year and to update, yeah, and to be compliant. I can find the original one, but we have had one in place for several years now.
I'll see. I have an email from them.
Okay.
I'll speak to them.
So we, Mayor, want to defer this to the next meeting for further discussion?
Yeah, if we could just say it's the first and second reading and we'll bring it back for a third.
Okay, Dwayne, go ahead.
It's waste oils and antifreeze and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So this, did you hear Mayor Ford?
It's
No, I
waste
did
oil
not
and-
hear that.
Waste oil and antifreezes and other like brake fluids things. Fluids that would come out of the vehicle.
Okay, so that was an addition, or weren't we already collecting that?
It's an amendment to that original agreement.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you wish to defer? Do you wish to pass it? What's the consensus?
Mayor Ford had mentioned potentially doing read a first and second time, but
Sure,
like
okay.
to pass.
All right, that's fine. Thank you. I'll take the suggestion,
Before we move on,
please.
does council want this brought back for the October meeting or for the September 24th, since we're bringing other things back as well?
Whatever's easier for the administration.
Yeah,
Major,
if
sorry, go ahead.
it's-
Sorry.
I just wanted to say, this doesn't come into effect until January 1, 2026. So there's lots of time, but in my opinion.
Okay.
It could wait to the October meeting, regular meeting.
All right, we'll defer it. Item 12.2, bylaw number 2156-25, non-unit salary grade and job classification structure. Mover and a seconder, please. Councilor Shinneman. Councilor Peter Kissimmee.
Be it resolved that bylaw number 215625, being a bylaw to adopt a non-union salary grid and job classification structure for the Township of Hornepayne, be hereby read a first and second time and be considered read a third time and finally passed.
Any comments, input? Being none, all in favor? Carried.
Sorry, I thought Mayor Ford had her hand up. Voting with it.
Okay. Item 12.3, bylaw number 2157-25, municipal policy governance framework. We have a mover and a seconder, please. Councilor Belinda Kissemaker. Councilor Peter Kissemaker.
Be it resolved that bylaw number 215725, being a bylaw to adopt a municipal policy governance framework, be hereby read a first and second time and be considered read a third time and finally passed.
Council input, comments? Mayor Ford?
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chair. I just had a couple comments. I really like the governance policy. Thank you for that, Jen. I'm just concerned about dates for implementation because I'm looking at item 5. It shows the policy adoption and review, the table of that. And just to update that table would be quite a bit of work. So I'm just concerned about, like, if we pass this tonight as a bylaw, does it give us any allowance to bring? That's the only portion I'm concerned about, because everything else we'll bring into review when it needs to. I just don't want to be fouling our own bylaw that we pass.
Is this addressed to CEO, Mayor Ford?
To whoever's the CAO or
Okay.
whoever can answer.
For Jennifer, please.
I am sorry, I am a little bit confused by your question. Can you restate it?
Yeah, for sure. So just in my question was in reference to 5, the policy and adoption and review table. So my understanding is when we do an adoption by council, it will be recorded, the number or the resolution number, and when we reviewed that and if we made any changes. So I guess my first question is, are we going to put all of our bylaws on this format, or is this all just for forward moving bylaws?
Yeah. So, well, this is technically policies, not bylaws, but it will be for all new policies. And some of our old ones do have a similar table on them. But it will just be to update. So for example, if council reviews the policy next term and they have no issues with it, we would put the date that it was reviewed, but no changes have been made to show the public that it is being reviewed, but there were no active changes. It's just essentially to keep track of that it has been reviewed within a term if there are no changes to be made.
Okay, so then just a follow-up question then. So on that table, then it really should just say policy, not bylaw or resolution number? or policy and resolution number?
So it's bylaw or resolution number being the one that enacted it. So if there are changes, for example, what bylaw or resolution enacted the updated policy? So for
Okay.
example, the bylaw for this one will be 215725 would be the number for, that I would put into this chart once this is adopted. 'Cause
Okay,
that
and
is the
it's,
that adopted it.
okay, and is anywhere in the policy, does it say that this is for moving forward and not retroactive then? And if it doesn't, like, do we need to add that? I'm just,
I don't think so.
Yeah, I don't think that we need to add it. I think it's because it's to establish a clear framework, it's to move forward. I don't, I can
Okay.
check, but I think it's relatively.
I agree with Jennifer. I believe it's fine the way it is, and it does say, be it resolved to establish municipal governance, policy governance framework. So it really is the policy that governs how we're going to do our policies going forward. And it's
okay,
going to force an effect on the date of adoption, so that would suggest that it would be going forward.
sounds good, thank you. I just didn't want us to, immediately, we're supposed to be making all of our policies follow this.
Oh, for sure. I mean, the goal is to be going through them, and we will likely be updating most, if not all of our policies at some point in the near future. So chances are we will essentially be going back and changing them to match it anyway. But it will be to also update them to be accurate and current.
So I can add a little more. I asked Jen to do this policy. She was already working on it, but I really pushed her to get it done because I wanted a framework by which we could do all our policies consistently. So there's no disparity and confusion about why things are this one way or another. So it was a clear pathway forward. A lot of our policies are in need of revision. And so if we're going to start that revision process, we should be consistent in it.
Okay,
Thank you.
Richard, go ahead, please. You okay? All right. Thank you for the discussion. All in favor? Motion is carried. Thank you. Please go ahead.
Mayor, after we move into closed session, would it be acceptable to request a recess?
We will have a recess. Rest assured, I can't sit anymore. I don't know if I'm able to get up.
I did perfect. Yeah.
Okay. So motions, notices of motions, item number 13 being none. All right, so prior to the close, it is at 8:32 p.m. Is it okay? Be back at 8:42. Is that acceptable to everyone? Yeah. All right, we'll see everybody in at 8:32. So you have to move it to go into closed session.
Yes, so we'll come
Move
back.
it, and then move it to the closed session after a break.
I'm good.
Is that okay, Mayor Ford?
Okay. You don't
Okay. Everybody back in action? Please go ahead.
Need a mover and a second.
Yeah, it's at 8:42. May I have a mover and a seconder to move into closed session? Council Peter Kissinger, Council Shinneman,
Be it resolved that the next portion of the meeting at 8:42 PM be closed to the public in order to discuss personal matters about an identifiable individual, including municipal or local board employees, a proposed or pending acquisition or disposition of land by the municipality, and labor relations or employee negotiations pursuant to section 239 2BCD of the Municipal Act 2001.
all in favor? Carried. Thank you. great.
All right, we are,
All right. Welcome back, everyone that's paying attention to us. Item number 15, business arising from closed session. All items were discussed and are ongoing. Item number 16.
um,
Please
did
go
we
ahead.
do the motion to return to open council?
I did not. I picked it back. We did close. Yeah, Mayor Mover, second, please, to open, Councilor Peter Kissimmee, Councilor Belinda. Just to make we're at the 9:42,
Be it resolved that the council of the corporation of the Township of Hornepayne does hereby return to open council at 9:42 PM.
thank you. I'll repeat item number 15, business arising from closed session. All items were discussed and are ongoing. Number 16, item 16.1, bylaw number 2158-25 confirmatory. May I have a mover and a second, please? Council Peter Kissimmee, Council Sherman.
Be it resolved that bylaw number 215825, being a bylaw to confirm the proceedings of council at the regular meeting held on Wednesday, September 10th, 2025, be hereby read a first and second time and be considered read a third time and finally passed.
All in favor? Carried. Item 16.2, adjourn meeting. May I have a mover, please, and a second? Council Peter Kissimmee, Council Sherman.
Be it resolved that council does hereby adjourn this regular meeting of council held on Wednesday, September 10th, 2025 at 9:43 PM.
All in favor? Carried. Thank you very much, staff, and I'll